Today, we'll be delving into a provocative paper by S.C. Sales, titled Aleister Crowley, Thelema, Contending AIWASS. If names like Crowley or Thelema sound a little obscure or mysterious, don't worry, I'll walk you through it, step by step. Let's see where to start. The core question this paper explores is really about the nature of Thelema, a modern spiritual philosophy that originated with Aleister Crowley, and specifically the ontological status of AIWASS. This mysterious voice, Crowley claimed, dictated his core text, LIBER AL VEL LEGIS, back in 1904. Sales wants to know, what kind of voice, what kind of authority was AIWASS? Was this just Crowley's fantasy, a psychological experience, or are we looking at a more profound theological phenomenon? And why does any of this matter? Well, it matters because Thelema isn't just an eccentric footnote in occult history. Its ideas continue to ripple through culture, art, spirituality, even technology. If the roots are tangled, the fruits might be weirdly close to our own lives. Okay, the paper starts by setting the stage. Crowley, a notoriously colourful figure, claimed he received a revelation from an entity named AIWASS, and this became foundational for followers of Thelema. Most biographies and cultural studies focus on Crowley the man, but Sales wants to shift the focus to AIWASS itself. What was this voice? And why does it present such a challenge for thinkers today? The methods here are, I have to say, pretty comprehensive. Sales goes through historical documentation, compares metaphysical systems, and looks at how Thelema was practiced in real life. There's this fascinating section analysing the so-called phenomenology of the AIWASS event, like how Crowley did not just feel inspired, but heard a voice coming from a determinate spot in his room. Call it dramatic or call it spooky, it certainly doesn't sound like your usual daydream. And then the paper sort of pivots. This is where things get really philosophical, I guess. Sales argues that Thelema doesn't just give us a new rule to live by, like, do what you want. Instead, it flips traditional religious metaphysics on its head, where Christianity sees truth as something higher to which we must conform. Thelema says our will is what matters most, and truth becomes a kind of side effect, not the main event. That's a paradigm shift that, well, honestly, it's wild. Let me just pause here and mention that I am not endorsing or critiquing Sales or Crowley. This is analysis, not advocacy. Seriously, I have to say that a lot since these are heavy topics. Back to the paper. Sales digs into the rituals, daily practices, sexual magic, the Abbey of Thelema in Cephalou, and shows how Thelema wasn't just talk, it became embodied in real communities. But the flip side of revelation as will, Sales argues, is that it breeds instability. There's a pattern of chaos, collapse, and sometimes even addiction among Crowley's followers. What the paper tracks historically, when the author starts talking about how these same spiritual patterns show up in modern accelerationist philosophy, chaos magic, even discussions about AI and future technology. What does all this mean for you, for us, living years later? Well, Sales suggests that these patterns, putting personal will at the center, questioning inherited authority, seeking sovereignty without submission, are not just old, they keep coming back in new guises. Whenever society's moral guideposts get unclear, ideas like Thelema re-emerge. The temptation, if you want to call it that, is to seek revelation that flatters our autonomy, but maybe leaves us untethered. Instead, Sales pushes us to ask deeper questions about authority, truth, and what kind of revelations we want to shape our lives. It's a challenge, honestly. Is your own will the ultimate foundation, or is there something higher?